Hey guys, it's Dr. May. How are you? I had found an old PowerPoint that I wanted to share with you today, and I kind of forgot where I got this concept, but I kind of like it, and I thought I'd share. It's called the four-chambered heart, and it's kind of like how we could bring a little bit more heartfulness into our life, and maybe a little more wise mind too. And actually, the original Buddhist way of describing mindfulness is also heartfulness. Like mind and heart were considered kind of the same thing. So they sort of go hand in hand. So I guess you'll see how that works when we go over this today. It was kind of short, but I thought it was nice. So I hope you like it. All right, here we go. Okay, so our four chambered heart. Okay, so basically it kind of cooks down into these four qualities. So a full heart, a strong heart, an open heart, and a clear heart. So I'm going to talk about what we sometimes start out as having with a struggle and how we move into each chamber, like what that would look like. So it could kind of give us some ideas of the direction we can move in to be a little bit more heartful in our life, okay? So sometimes you might find yourself feeling a little half-hearted. So that's when, we're not really satisfied with what we're doing. We feel a little bit like pointless, like I'm not really into what I have to do. There's more of a sense of obligation, like I have to get this done. I'm in a rut. I'm in a certain routine that's not really satisfying to me. Or maybe like I'm doing the same thing all the time and I don't know what else to do, or I don't really have a choice, or I'm bored, right? And sometimes it's a sign that maybe we're doing something that we used to love, but we no longer love it. Our heart isn't in it anymore. Or we're with people that used to be a good match for us, and now they're not really a good match for us anymore. We've outgrown them, or it just isn't working. And so we feel like a lack of vitality. We feel more blah about things. And that's kind of that half-hearted feeling. And it can almost make us feel a little depressed sometimes, right? A little bit like, what's the point, right? So it's kind of a struggle. And so let's talk about what it would look like if we moved into being more full-hearted, right? So when we're full-hearted, it's like the essence of who we are is being expressed. So if there's a talent you have and now you have access to express it, or there's a passion you have, or there's like an interest or something that really sparks your energy, when you finally could put that into action, when you figure out what that is, and then you could start to do it, all of a sudden you feel so much more energized. Like it gets you finally excited about something. Like this energy comes that you didn't even realize you had, right? And that's how you know you have vitality and you're working with a full heart. Okay, so let's look at some of these pictures. So the man on the upper left is playing the guitar. And if you have that musical talent and you do it, it could feel amazing if you finally, get to play the music you love, right? And as a musician, I could totally relate to this one. And even the man on the upper right, the painting, if you haven't done art in a while, it may feel great just to try it again. Even if it's not amazing art, just do it just to express yourself. Sometimes exercise or a certain kind of sport or a physical activity to get you engaged again, because now you're exercising, you're moving your whole body, and maybe you're experiencing sensations you haven't felt in a while, right? And sometimes even like volunteer work, just like helping other people can kind of get you much more excited and engaged because now you're feeling more connected, all right? But it could be other things too, of course. It doesn't have to just be these things, but something that makes you feel like excited again, right? So that's operating with your full heart. So try to figure out what that is for you. It could make a really big difference. Okay. So now the next one, we're going to start with the weak heart, right? So sometimes, we feel a little like the cowardly lion, right? Maybe we're not as strong in expressing ourselves as we want to be, right? Maybe our self-respect effectiveness, our fast skill needs a little work. Maybe we're afraid to be assertive. We're afraid to identify our needs and express them to people, or tell people what we would really like in the relationship we have. Or maybe we shy away from conflict because we're afraid people will be mad at us or they won't like us, right? And so we're holding back in some way, right? That could be one version of a weak heart. Another one could be that I don't feel strong enough to face the truth in my life. right? There might be painful things that I'm afraid to look at. Like maybe there's a relationship I'm in and I'm afraid to really admit that it's not working out or that it would be better for me to move on from that person, right? Because I'm scared of the vulnerability. I'm scared of the uncertainty. So I might be a little bit in denial about things, right? I kind of might be like that ostrich, just trying to put my head in the sand and not wanting to see certain things about myself, or my relationships, or my world, right? And so that in a way is kind of like a weak heart. So I don't want it to sound judgmental, because I mean, it makes sense sometimes that we're scared to deal with certain things in our life, right? It's something that we go through. But in contrast to a courageous heart, we're just going to say for now a weak heart. So don't take it, to heart in a negative way, but just acknowledge that sometimes we're in this spot, right? Okay. So a strong heart, right? It's operating with courage. And the word courage, at C-O-U-R, in French is cœur, which means heart, right? So when we have courage, we're able to move forward with our full heart, and we're able to stand up for the things that are important to us, right? So I'm using that fast skill. I'm using my self-respect effectiveness. I'm able to say, this is right for me, or this is what I need, or I'm able to stand up for something that's important to me that I value, right? And I'm not as afraid of other people's reactions. And I'm strong enough to face the truth, even if it's difficult, right? Because some truths are really hard to face. But if I have a strong heart, I build up the courage to do it, right? So that's what we're all aiming for. Because in our life and in recovery, sometimes we really need a lot of courage. And if you want to learn more about this part in particular, I have a video about courage and recovery. So it really goes in a deep dive in that area. Okay, so check it out if you want to. Okay, so another one that happens a lot, right, is if we get hurt in our life, right? If we're betrayed, if we're mistreated, if we're abused, sometimes our coping mechanism is to close our heart, is to chain it up and lock it, like that picture in the upper left, right? Because we don't want to be hurt again. We're terrified of going through that pain. So we build a wall, and we try to wall people out and wall out certain feelings and wall out certain experiences. And while we keep ourselves safe, we also keep ourselves very limited. And it also creates extra pain in it just by the closing, okay? So it could involve resentments, right? So if I close my heart to someone because I'm mad, I'm torturing myself with a resentment, because that means resentment, re-feel. It means I'm re-feeling the same problem over and over again. I'm retelling myself the same painful story about what happened. I keep telling myself how much I could have been different if this didn't happen, right? And it creates additional suffering. It's like the gift that keeps on giving, but in a negative way, because I'm closing my heart and I'm resenting it, and it's affecting my life now, even if it's something a long, long time ago, right? So resentments and grudges, same kind of thing. Or if I'm disappointed, things just didn't work out the way I was hoping they would. My dreams didn't come true. And so I keep thinking about that. I keep regretting it. So that tortures me now too. And being afraid of taking that chance again because I don't want to be hurt, it limits me. It closes off possibilities I could have just because I want to stay safe. Okay. So all the things that I listed below, I don't need to go one by one, but I'm sure you know what I'm talking about, right? Sometimes we really just close our heart. Okay. Even if you look at the posture of the woman in the picture with that hands folded and the face, like she's curling into herself. She's bracing herself for pain. Okay. So this is the closed heart. So what we're trying to do is to take that risk of facing vulnerability and facing uncertainty and slowly start to reopen your heart again. Okay. Because with openness comes more possibility, right? Closed, you kind of limit yourself. All right. So when you're open, is more of a curiosity about yourself, about life, about other people. There's a willingness, as they say in DBT, to try new things. There's a sense of, let me take life as an adventure rather than as something that could cause a lot of pain. A sense of wonder, like all these things are very open, expansive qualities. Okay. Open with other people could be like offering compassion to people, showing that you could be with them in their pain, that you could forgive people, that you could be kind to others and share your heart with others. Okay. That you could be generous and that you could also receive love. If the door's open, you could also let people in, right? And not just wall people out, okay? So open heart, that's kind of what it's all about. And if you want to learn more about the giving and the receiving part, I have 2 videos on just that topic. So that both of those involve opening your heart, okay? Okay, and also sometimes we struggle with a confused heart. You know, we're at a stage in our life where things feel a little more chaotic. Maybe we're in the middle of a change cycle and we don't know what we should do. You know, maybe things are changing and I have doubt about what I should do next, or who am I anymore? I don't even know who I am. I don't even know what's going on with my relationships. It's different. And I don't know what to make of it anymore. It's not as clear to me. Maybe I'm more ambivalent about who I'm spending time with and what I'm doing in my life, or what the next step should be, you know? And I hesitate maybe because I'm afraid to make a mistake because I just don't know anymore, right? So this is a very strong area of uncertainty, and it can be very uncomfortable. Sometimes we want to hurry up and fix the uncertainty by like just making a decision, but we're afraid to make a decision because it may not be the right one. We may not want to hurry that. Okay, so how do we stay with this confused heart and let it emerge into something else, right? It's a big challenge for us. It's a skill in a way, being willing to stay with it. But eventually, we might find a way to become more clear rather than confused. So a clear heart, maybe I've done some personal work and I've done some self-examination, and now I'm a little more clear about what's important to me, right? Maybe I've identified the values that I want to be the driving force in my life. And so I realize I can make more decisions based on those values. And I'm a little clearer on what to do, right? Maybe I know where I stand in my relationships. I know what I need to do, if I'm keeping them, if I'm fixing them, if I'm changing them. Um, and, you know, my life just seems like it's making a little bit more sense. Okay. So there's moments for confusion and there's moments for clarity, right? You can't have the clarity all the time though, but we could always work toward obtaining more clarity if we have the courage to reflect and look at the issues. Okay. So that's the gist of the 4-chambered heart. We went through the 4. So I hope that helped clarify a little bit and helps you be a little more heartful in your life. Okay, thanks for listening, guys, and I'll talk to you soon.